Let's go, we are back with more Grand Poo World 2, completed the first half of the game last time. Let's move ahead and finish this up today. So last time we finished by beating the Cluster Chuck at the end of Sen's Fortress. Now we can move ahead to the Crossroad Island, which is pretty much a central point for us to move anywhere. As you can see, we can go right to go back to the starting section over here. But more importantly, we can take this left to head on over to the sewers, Deuce Lair. And of course, this is in the sewers because this is where all of the Twitch chat's suggestions end up. Sorry, guys. And this is definitely one of the most infamous levels, as it is really, really difficult. I probably spent an entire day trying to beat it my first time. So, you know, one thing I should mention is that I would prefer to not say exactly what that stuff down there is and what I'm swimming in right now, but, you know, since we're in the sewers and from the color of it, I'm assuming you guys can just guess what it is. However, it is a similar color to the reverse water from earlier, but this one is actually normal. This water does not invert your controls. Good, because we gotta move quickly through it. And then, wow, I don't know how to bounce on that pipe, and we gotta land on the pipe right on the left so we do not get trolled by that dolphin into the soft lock, and we can grab the checkpoint. And, you know, before we continue on with the second section, let's just go down this pipe and say hello to our good buddy Glitch Cat chilling down here. What's up, dude? Now, moving along, this section is pretty much all about timing, because everything is on an up-down cycle here, which is why it's important to actually stop for 1 second right there. When we hit this switch, hopefully all the cycles should line up. Well, assuming I stay alive. Also, yes, if this shell jump looked insane, that's because it is. I don't know how anyone is supposed to figure out that trick their first time. I definitely had to look that one up. It was a little bit too slow there, but we do have one final shell that we can use to shell jump into the pipe. However, I'm an idiot and I missed both of them, so now I gotta do the whole thing over. The reason it's important to wait for a second there is because it means that the lava will start from a lower position once we hit the switch, so it'll take longer to go up and therefore longer before it is out of our reach. So I hope that was enough. Ah, I didn't do that right. No! This level is where death spirals are born. Wow, I did not think I was getting that. I thought I was way too far to the left. No! Kaizo! There's another Kaizo block for you. Okay. Alright, a little bit more to the left. This feels pretty good. Jump through that water is important to go fast. This is high enough. We are in! Let's get launched out of the sewer, into the water that is safe, and to the goal. Let's go. However, actual game lore here. All of the sewer water that was there escaped, and it has now poisoned all of the mushrooms. But we'll get to that after we go back into the sewer, because some of you may have noticed there is a secret exit here. So something that some of you may have noticed are these 2 coins right here at the end. And 2 coins usually indicate a pipe. And of course we can make that pipe appear by letting the lava rise up. So we can jump back over and enter the blue pipe coming up right there. And of course, as we go through, we got a nice little music switch to Super Mario Bros. 3 Underground. And what better way to make a level based off that music than with the horizontal screen wrap. Classic Mario 3 gimmick. This level is really well designed with that gimmick in mind, I must say. Using these carrot number platforms, whatever, to their advantage. Never seen that before. We're gonna jump around that Kaizo block, and then we're gonna maneuver our way up with the rest of these platforms. and into this pipe at the top. And now some of you are thinking that I should run ahead and grab this goal, right? Well, I'm actually not going to do that, because if you grab this goal, you will die. So what we actually have to do is we have to remember that the horizontal screen wrap is still enabled, make our way around the goal like this to grab a key, and then put it in this keyhole to get the secret exit. In, of course, Ooze Laughter House. Now, some would say that this level is a little bit too colorful for them. However, I say you can never have too much color and positive things in your life, so of course I love this level. And trust me, it's better for everyone if I do not go back in that pipe at the beginning. Oh, that was close. Alright, now we're gonna use our disco friend. I messed up my pattern. Hopefully we can still get this. I'm gonna kill this guy so they don't kill each other. And then short bounces, and grab the checkpoint. Let's go. Now we can do some more fancy Mecha Koopa stuff in the second half. Gotta time that right. Let's try this again. We gotta bounce like this, get into the water, and So I think I did one too many swims last time. But that time I think I landed in there in just slightly the wrong way. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That went so wrong, and it wasn't even close. We can do a trick like that, where we bounce on both disco shells before they kill each other, and then we get right into this vertical pipe. And of course, a lot of you are thinking, am I gonna go back in this pipe right here? You bet, because I want some content. So some of you might recognize this level as Corndilly from Grand Poo World 1. I will not be putting as many attempts as I need into this, but I will try to beat it right now. And yes, it is the exact same level as it was in the first game. I mean, if I can somehow beat this in one try, that would be insane, except I can't at all. And it sends me all the way back to this checkpoint. Awesome. And for anyone wondering, no, you do not have to beat that level to beat the Switch Palace. That is just a troll that is meant to throw you off. Because in Grand Poo World 1, you did actually have to go back through this pipe in order to beat the level. So the real way to beat this Switch Palace is to go over, avoid this fish out of nowhere, and hit the switch. Just kidding. It's actually a reskin pipe, and the real switch is down here. Now, this whole thing is complicated because 1, the switch actually runs away from us, and 2, we can't jump high enough to get up to it. But we can solve one of these problems by running and running and running all the way over to the left until finally we get to the wall, and then the switch actually starts chasing us back the other way until it pushes us all the way over to the wall. Now, fair warning, don't go in this pipe because that will also take you to Corndilly. So we solved one problem because the switch actually is not moving anymore. To solve the other problem, we have to stand right there so a Mecha Koopa comes through the ceiling, and then we can finally jump up and hit the switch. That is simultaneously the best and worst Switch Palace troll ever. So, as I mentioned, the sewer water from Deuce Lair has escaped and gone into the forest here. And if we enter Murkwood, we can see that everything in here is poisoned. And that is not good, because there were a lot of mushrooms in this level to help us out, but now they are all poisoned as well, and we have to avoid all of them. Let's do this fancy jump to get past this chuck. And for this is a little weird. We gotta jump in between and then walk with the mushrooms and jump up. Okay. Some fancy jumps right here. We gotta jump around to get the checkpoint because there is a Kaiser block right underneath it, and then that mushroom coming in, it could get you. However, moving along, more mushrooms at this section, of course. However, we do have one friend who is not fazed by these poison mushrooms, and that is this little baby Yoshi right here. We can throw him over to this mushroom and he can eat it no problem. Alright, this one can be tricky. We gotta jump and turn at just the right moment. So that was 3, that is 4, and then 5 coming up right here. Oh no! He turns into adult Yoshi right there. And we were supposed to be a bad guy and jump off of him to make the last jump, but I must have been feeling too nice there because I just went right down with him. So I'm sorry, Yoshi, I gotta be the bad guy this time. We're gonna... Never mind. We're gonna make you a full-grown Yoshi, and I'm gonna jump off you at just the right moment, and there is a regular one up there to scare you, but it will do us no harm, and we can get the goal no problem. Now, we are onto Weathertop, and like I said before, this might also be my least favorite level in the game, and I will explain why when we get there. You know, at the start of the level, though, it's it's not too bad. Like, I will say the color palette used for it actually looks really nice. It really fits the Ghost House-esque type of level. So after evading all of these boo and bones, we can grab ourselves this mushroom. Just gonna do these precise jumps, and finally jump between this fast ring of boos right here. Nailed it, and then we get the checkpoint. Just kidding, it's just a fake checkpoint. We gotta do one more jump in between the circle. Nailed it. That is always a relief. Then we got these nets, or in this case, these floating webs right here that we can use to traverse our way through the second half. And a little ways down the road, we meet up with this guy, which we call Fishing Bones. And like I stated before, you know, fishing boos, fishing bones, I just don't like them. Really, any level that has them, it's just a bad level, in my opinion, because they are so jank and just hard to use. But not only is there just one to deal with, there's another one right here, and 3 more at the end that we have to jump around before we finally get to the goal. I might have done that fairly easily, but that usually is an absolute pain to get through because of all the fishing boo shenanigans that you have to go through. Anyway, let's head back into Weathertop one more time for this secret exit, because there was actually a subtle hint in the second half, because we could climb on those nets. Now we go back into the level, and we see that there are nets right up here in the corner, so we can use this bones to bounce right on up to the nets and get into the hidden pipe up top for the secret exit. And this secret exit is pretty much just a really long fall to the bottom, with a lot of hard tricks to deal with too. I think a lot of people would say that they don't like Weathertop for this section specifically, because I think a lot of people would agree with me and say that this section is an absolute pain as well. You know, I will give it credit. This trick where you have to jump off the Koopa and then grab its shell lines up really well. That whole sequence where you gotta grab the shell and move out of the way, that is still really, really hard. And then we gotta disco our way to the end now, where we finally get to the most evil door of them all. Hopefully we can do this setup where we bounce them against the wall, jump right up into the door, just like that. Let's go, baby. And this is our second Big Boo fight, actually. And the first time, the Big Boo actually could kill us. This one is actually a little bit nicer. He does not have a hitbox and will not kill us, so we can just go straight through him. However, as you can see, we cannot go through the small boos that are circling around him. We gotta maneuver our way in between those guys. And also, this boo is a little bit back to normal because it is just 3 hits instead of 4 this time. We can get our first 2 with those blocks. And for the last one, we have to climb up a little bit more. Get a shell from this block. And take him out just like that. Bang. And this opens up Hanzo Castle, which, do not be fooled by the overworld image, this is still a Switch Palace, our second of 3. And this level, I would say, is very cool because it is all about mind tricks. You know, in Kaizo, pretty much the main thing is that when players see what's on the screen, you know, they know what to do. Like, they see a gray Bowser statue, and they know it's gonna shoot fire. They see a yellow Bowser statue, they know it's gonna jump up, so they know what to do to get around that. But this level actually changes that up, because as you can see, at the start of the level right here, there's a regular Bowser statue that spits fire. But after we get through this, there is a gray Bowser statue here that actually jumps up. And that door back there was just a coin. So you see a lot of stuff, and it's not what you expect. And also right here, you see these munchers, and you expect, oh yeah, I don't want to touch those, because I'm gonna die. Well, guess what? That is not true. Basically, everything in this room, everything that is bad is good, and everything that is good is bad. Because I'll just show you, if you step on these platforms right here, they turn into fire, and you're dead. So essentially, this is kind of like the opposite room. You just want to go against your instincts and step on everything bad to make your way through. And of course, to top it all off, there's a pool of water right here, and this actually is reverse water. You have to press left to make your way through that. And finishing off with the door right here. Oh, no, that's also fake. The door is right down there. So many things that just feel wrong with that. Ooh, that was sick. This one is kind of just difficult. You just gotta time your jumps very well to not get trolled by the spikes right there. You gotta jump just as those spikes come up so they don't kill you. As you can see, they did kill me that time. These jumps at the end here are even more insane, because you gotta jump just as they go down to make your way onto the next platform and get into the door. And for our final room right here, a lot of things different about this. We can actually stick to these blue blocks on the ceiling, and we can wall jump, which, yeah, that's not normal. However, just like everything else with this game, this section is actually designed really well. This whole setup right here with the shells and the thwomps and everything just lines up so well. And then as we finish off, we want to avoid that mushroom, and we can just go right for the switch without any issues. And exiting the forest, we head on into a danger zone. And this one really is just designed like the bridge level from last time. And this is basically just a traditional bridge level. However, despite it being one of the easier levels in the game, it is also one of my favorites. So upon these ropes, we get the checkpoint right here, except we don't. There is no tape on those poles. The tape is actually inside this little trapezoid right here. You can just find the opening and jump to grab the tape like that. Well, surprisingly, it seems like when most people speedrun this game, they skip that checkpoint because the rest of the level, I guess, is not too worrisome. We got some more rope shenanigans right here. And our last fast rope right here, we just gotta catch up to it by jumping on these saws. We just gotta trust the coins this time, so we can go right through the saw wall and hit the goal. Upon beating that level, we see that there is another pipe over here, and these are essentially just ways to get around the map much quicker. This pipe actually takes us all the way back to the start. And this pipe over on the right takes us to the underground section that we saw. So anyone was wondering what those pipes were for, this is your answer. But moving forward, up into this place, we are into the darkest world so far. This is definitely where the final world vibes set in for us. Now we are on to the House of the Undying. Hope there's some Game of Thrones fans out there. This is probably one of my favorite levels in the game as well. How did that Koopa go so far? So what I was saying was, this is probably one of my favorite levels in the game because it is designed absolutely brilliantly, and this is honestly one of the levels that I like to show people when just demonstrating what Kaizo is, because everything with these on-off switches especially, it just looks so insane, and it really just shows people how good at the game you can be. I'm too slow! And it is interesting, because I feel like when people talk about what is their favorite level in this game, I feel like this one gets left out a lot of the time. So I will redeem it by making the statement that I just made. What? Just a hair too slow on that second switch. I missed it again! Like I said, this level is so good, I don't mind having to play it this many times over again. Alright, now let's not miss our chance. We're gonna run with the block, bounce over, and then make our way into the door. And we can continue. Grab ourselves this checkpoint, and then we can start to make our ascent. Let me tell you, the creativeness with the blocks and the switches, it does not stop here. Everything is still very insane, very well designed, and looks really cool to anyone watching, in my opinion. This section, it really does feel like you should always have a block in hand, because there's definitely going to be a block that you will need to hit a switch with and simultaneously bounce off of. And now we take out these chucks, one more bounce, and we are in the boss door. For this boss, we have 4 Resnors to deal with, however they are actually stationary this time, and we have to use the throw block and bounce off of it again and again to take out the Resnors up top. Now, each Resnor actually takes 3 hits to take down, so essentially we have to hit each note block 6 times while avoiding the fire that is being spit at us. No! Alright, let's see if we can get a little fancy here with this block. There we go, so we can bounce off of it again and again to hit the note blocks, except that fireball was right in my path. But doing a trick like that is crucial to beating this boss fight, because we are on a time crunch for this one as well. So doing this trick and making those constant hits just like that helps to beat it in a fraction of the amount of time that we needed. Let's go. Now, this is probably the most well-known level in this game. Although I still don't know how to pronounce it, I'm just gonna call it the Irie, because that looks right. Now, before we check it out, let's just go back up this pipe at the beginning, and we're gonna take a look at 3 Cat's portrait up here. And actually, I do not want to run down this long hallway. I'm just gonna start and select, not for the real thing. So we start off by bouncing off these bullet bills, and it becomes immediately apparent that this is a cape level. Now, as I mentioned in my Grandpa World 1 playthrough, the cape level in that game is pretty tame. Well, I apparently was not the only person to think that, because Barb actually took that to great offense and made pretty much this angry cape level, which is really, really long, really hard to get revenge on all of us. We gotta fly very precisely here. Once we get to this part, we have this long hallway. We're actually gonna slow down a little bit. We gotta constantly slow down and speed up to make our way through everything in this long hallway. We really don't want to hit those pencils, because they'll just stop us dead in our tracks. Alright, once we get through the saws, we have a drop off, we do one more swoop, and we can get into the pipe. Let's go. Do not underestimate those 2 rooms. So this level is very long, but thankfully, at least with the exception of the first and second room, there is a checkpoint at the end of every room. So we have a lot to go through, but at least we can save our progress. And if you notice, in this room, there actually is no flying at all, which I am very grateful for, because flying with the cape is very, very difficult to learn. So I feel like it was a good thing for Barb to pretty much make a cape level that actually had cape platforming in it. It wasn't all about flying all over the place. With that said, I'm really struggling with this room, though. Yeah, this part is tricky because going down with the cape is not easy, so we're just gonna let go of the button so we can make that bounce, and just miss the other block. Thought I had that. Alright, let's try this again. So we're gonna fall like this, bounce off the ball and chain, and then spin to get past those blocks and into the pipe. However, we are back to flying in this room because we are actually making an ascent this time. And you can go very high with the cape, I must say. So we're gonna fly up like this. We have to very carefully swoop into these on-off switches, go back. And then we gotta run to the top. We can preserve our cape flight with these grates. We can fly with P-switches as well, so we're just going to use that to make our way to the end and into the P-switch door. That usually takes me forever. I cannot believe I just did that first try. I honestly don't know what's going on today. It's like I'm getting all of the really hard sections first try, and I'm screwing up all the easy stuff. Although I am glad to say that once that room is done, we no longer have to do any flying. It is back to some more creative cape platforming as we make our way to the finish. A little Koopa shell jump with the cape, and we can get right in the pipe. Now what's interesting is that you see that if I got hit right there, I would have lost the cape, and then I would not have been able to grab that checkpoint on the left. So you can still beat the level. If you get hit, you just can't save your progress. And I think that was a really cool way to design this last part. So once we get here, we're gonna free fall. We can meet up with our boy Yoshi right here, who will take us all the way to the end. And if you recognize these ropes, these are dark, which means that these are tight ropes from Sense Fortress. So we're just gonna nice and carefully walk along them into the pipe. And we have finally made it to the roof, and we can grab our orb and get out of here. Now, we are in the final section of the game. We have the very large castle behind us here. Before we do that, we are going to hop into Idle Hands. Famously named, of course, because we have these clocks which will freeze time for a few seconds, allowing us to utilize the obstacles in much different ways than usual. I would say this is also a level that people talk about a lot when discussing which level is their favorite in the game, and I would say that it is rightfully some of people's favorites. That clock that you saw, the hands were upside down, which means that it is a broken clock, so we could not hit it to stop those bullet bills. That confused me a lot when I first played this. As you can see, the Yoshi tech was a little bit different there. We didn't have to ditch him right away because of the clocks. You can see we can hit the clock and then we can get right back on him, even though we do ditch him shortly after. This shell trick is really difficult. And we got a first try, nice. I don't know how that's happening, getting all the hard stuff right out of the gate. Now this checkpoint, once again, you might think it's just a very simple jump towards it, but if we do that, it runs away from us. But once again, the floor is right below the death barrier right here, so we can just stand and grab the real checkpoint on the other side. And finally, for this level, we have a boss fight, which is classic Reznor fight, but of course we have to utilize the clock mechanic. So we have to throw the block, so we have to throw the block onto the spikes and stop time so we can bounce on it again to hit the Reznors. And just like the other fight we had, there is a time crunch on this. So it is crucial that we get those double hits there. It's like ideally, you want to get a double hit right out of the gate like this. And you can get another one by throwing it and then doing that. Now we just need one more, coming right Just like that, and we're done. And we have now opened up the path to the castle and into the 1,000 halls. So I debated how I was going to play through this level several times. And first things first, before we go down any of the main rooms, we are going to go to the secret path. So if you do not want to see the solution to the puzzle in this game, I would suggest that you move ahead in the video. So first things first, we take this key over to the left to unlock the door. And then to get the secret path, we actually have to take a look at this room right here. And as you can see, instead of it having 4 pads like the first room, there are only 3. And this one off to the left is much bigger than usual. And that is because there are invisible blocks right here that we can climb up, and a secret door, which, when we run to the end of the hallway, we see Grand Pooh Bear's picture chillin' in the corner. And then, of course, there's a keyhole right in his tooth. Because that makes sense. Now, that was just the first step in the puzzle. Now, it is onto the Orbitalian. And I feel like I'm not going to go through the whole solution to this because I really don't know everything about it, and there's plenty other better tutorials out there. So I'll pretty much just skip ahead to the final portion of the puzzle. So basically, if we enter the 2-player mechanic, we are teleported over to this corner where we have the Fraternal Fortress, which is the last secret level to the puzzle. So now that we play as Luigi, we can head on in and see what we got here. Actually, this will be a little bit different because when playing through this game normally, you don't go through this level. So I'm pretty out of practice with this level. From what I remember, it's pretty much consists of 5 quick rooms that are still pretty well designed. So that was the first one right there, all about shells, and then this one is about maneuvering through these fast-moving thwomps, very similarly to Invictus. Oh, that was close. There's a whole plethora of them at the end. We can dodge the other 3 by getting in the door. For this part, we have to save one of those bats until the end to get into this pipe, and there actually is a Kaiser block on the left there. That is a pretty hard pipe to get into. Now it is onto the spiny room. Was struggling with the falling ones. There we go. There we don't go. It's like I gotta wait just 1 second for those guys to walk out. And we jump off this guy. Jump off this guy, and miss the door completely. There we go, okay. It is on to the final room, which is all about lava. This room is very, very tricky. There's a lot of tricks that are not too consistent. Like that lava bubble jump right there. There we go. Alright, now we gotta do just one more shell trick. We do this, and then we... What? I killed the shell. That was not what I wanted. Alright, now let's try this again. So we're gonna set up the shell, land a little bit more to the left, and then do a nice double shell jump right here to make it over the wall and into the last door. Which plays the same music that we were hearing from the puzzle room, which gives us a little clue that this code here is important. BARB, select AXY. So let's remember that little code and head back to the Orbitalian. So we can make our way into the final room here, and I didn't want to spoil all of the puzzle as to how to get here, but once we make our way over to this step and type in the code BARB, select AXY, the door opens up, which leads us to the finish of the puzzle. And then this is just the Hall of Champions room. And of course, you know, there's just one room in here that we gotta check out. The picture of Barb, but that is not all.
Get out of my room.
Like I say, obviously gotta show that in every playthrough. But now let's head on to the final Switch Palace, the Nexus Palace. Which actually isn't even a level, it's just the switch that you press as your reward for completing the puzzle. Nice. And for the final level, we are heading back to the Thousand Halls with all 3 Switch Palaces pressed, and let's head on in. So nothing different about this first run this time. Just gonna grab the key and make our way back. Okay, here we go. We got the key. Now we are back into the room with the 3 choices. And I would say that the path that is best for me is the fire room up here. So let's head on into that. And the theme of fire definitely fits in here. Lava everywhere, lava bubbles jumping up. Something interesting about each room is that there is a bunch of key doors. And a lot of it involves us using the keys to maneuver around in the level. So here's the strat. So you run under the first 2, jump over the last one. There we go. Get through these key doors right here. And then we bring a key right out of the room. And once we are back into the beginning, we have the choice of 4 rooms. And I always pick the dolphin one. Because, you know, dolphins are usually nice and fun. However, with this room, it's not a traditional dolphin level. It is a bunch of dolphin statues rising up and out of the lava. But this is still pretty cool. Oh, frame roll. That's alright, we can do it again. Then we can grab this mushroom, and acting fast, we can get into this door. And that is the first half of the level, as cued by the music switch. Now for this room, this is kind of split between a lot of people. I see a lot of people choosing really like all of these rooms in their runs. However, I always choose the bottom left Mecha Koopa room whenever I play. This is really just the one that I have the most fun with, combining all of the Mecha Koopas from Pooh's Laughter House. Just gotta be a little bit careful here, under these 2 guys, and we are in. And for the last one, of course, what other choice would there be than to pick the best room out of all of them, which has the stopwatches from Idle Hands. This is easily the best room out of all 16, or 15, I think, in the level. This was definitely a really neat thing to add, because it just kind of adds like a bonus level to each unique gimmick in the game. Okay, here we go. Almost at the end at this point. After we do this Koopa jump, we just gotta do one more cool shell trick right here. We're gonna throw it, and there we go. So after we are done with those 4 choices, every path eventually leads to this room, which is pretty much just full of shell jumps. It's a nice finale before we get to the final boss. Let's go right under that fish, and we are through to the final gate right over here, to the true King of Evil. And of course, people are probably wondering if I will be doing the bosses behind this door, but, you know, nobody likes to see the bad ending. So let's just jump through this wall right here and head on over to the pipe so we can get the actual good ending. Once we are on the roof here, we can see that we did have to activate all 3 Switch Palaces. And that third one, that path is pretty long. Barb definitely wanted to make sure that you completed the puzzle before you got to here. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna need the mushroom up this chain for a little bit of help. Let's head on in and say hello to our good friend, Bowser, for probably the most intense boss fight ever. In Grand Pool World 1, it was a little bit easier because you could pretty much memorize the patterns to defeat him a little bit consistently. But in this fight, you can't do that because everything is just completely random. There's pretty much like... There are just so many different phases that he could do, and you pretty much just have to react on the fly to everything that happens. I'm actually doing pretty well for this first attempt, despite getting hit very early on. Just need about 3 more hits here. Oh, hammers. I hate the hammers. Well, that was pretty good for a first attempt. Let's grab the mushroom and see what we can do here. This fight could take 2 minutes, or it could take 2 hours. It really just depends on the luck that you get from all of these phases. As you can see, after 3, he turns into this kind of teal color, and then once you get 2 more, for a total of 5, he turns into the yellow that you saw earlier. Those changing colors really is pretty much just to keep track of how many hits you have. Well, that was a really bad death because I got 5 walled there. Definitely the most important thing is to keep your mushroom for those last 3 hits, because when he turns yellow, fire starts to rain from the sky, and his phases are just the most intense. So saving that hit for that moment is crucial to beating this, definitely. We do a little trick here, we can get 2 hits like that. So now we just need 2 more. Oh, hammers. Oh. Usually shells are good, but not in that case. No 5 wall? Okay, I lived it, but I did not live that. Oh, I got double shell right there, that was nice. Wow, I'm actually already, like to the last phase. Except I lost my mushroom instantly. Okay. Oh, I did not expect that last wall right there. I got pushed into the fire. So 6 is the most we've gotten so far. So we're close. Like, I honestly don't know how speedrunners, like, are able to beat this so consistently with all of the RNG going on here. Like, every time I come here, I can never get lucky enough to beat it so fast. There was just so much fire on the screen, there was no way I was living that. This is easily the most intense ending to any ROM hack ever. Oh, that was not what I wanted. Never good when you lose your mushroom without even getting a single hit on him. Alright, well there's 3. No. Oh, okay, wait. I didn't die, but he destroyed the block. I'm actually getting some lucky patterns here. That was 7. Okay, 1 more hit. Wow, I did not think that was gonna work, but we just did it. Now that would be where most ROM hacks end, but we still have 1 more escape sequence to do. Thankfully, you do get a checkpoint, so you don't have to do the boss fight again. We gotta do a little Metroid-inspired escape right here, where we gotta run up to avoid the lava. And keys are important once again. Oof. That's alright, we can do that again. Oh, Kaizo block. Once again, showing you all the Kaizo blocks. Alright, here we go, getting through this door. Now we just gotta do some fancy spin tricks right here to keep this key in hand. Just 1 more short climb. And like, come on, you know me. We're gonna save this baby Yoshi through the pipe, and we are done with Grand Pooh World 2. We have escaped the 1,000 halls, and we can now sail away to victory. I just gotta say thank you to Barbarous King for creating this game and spending so much time on it, because this is easily one of the best designed ROM hacks ever, and easily in contention for my favorite of all time. It is definitely either this one or Invictus. They are both so much fun to play. I play them all the time, and yeah, thank you for creating it. But with that said, I'm really excited that Grand Pooh World 3 has been announced and is being worked on right now, so definitely excited to play that when it comes out. But that is going to be all for now, and I will see you guys in the next one.